Antoine is going to be crowned your WOR Season 10 champion.
And history's been made. Ballina, the first WOR PS4 champion. What a championship! What a season! Absolutely phenomenal!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to World Online Racing, round number 6 here in the top tier on the PlayStation platform, and it is where Formula 1 all began. The first ever Formula 1 World Championship race, May the 13th, 1950 at Silverstone, and just over 71 years later, we're seeing what the top tier grid can do tonight. It is time for the British Grand Prix. My name is Luke Etheridge. Joining me once again in the commentary box is Logan Skelton. Logan, how are you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing great. Coming in at the last minute, I've not really had much time to prepare, but I am fired up for tonight. Of course, as Luke has said, this is the home of Formula 1. This is where it all started. It used to be an RAF airbase during the Second World War. It has now become the racetrack we know it as today. It went under so much evolution from the start. It used to be on the perimeter of the airbase, and then it has just went cut inside to it ever so gradually over the years to the track we know and love today. Of course, there's no bridge section anymore, but they have combined the national and international layouts to make one big, massive layout that is nearly 5.9 kilometers long, and we'll be doing 26 laps around this track. Taking a look at the standings, as you can see, if you go to the standings, CRG Gamer, who didn't win last week for the first time, he got third place. He, with his 4 wins out of 5, is on 115 points. Just 10 short of the maximum. Lars, for reference, is on 48, 67 behind Luke.
Yeah, it's been a ridiculous start from the season. We'll go through some of the rest of the drivers at the top. Brock, he took the victory last week. It was actually a 1-2 for the McLaren team, with Andrea getting second. Brock, he's now up to third on 46 points. Nico, he actually got he had a 3-second time penalty removed, and then got a 5-second penalty added on for the collision you guys might remember with Kryptonite that took him out of the race. So he's now fourth in the championship on 40 points. Andrea, his second place moved him up into 37, and that really did move McLaren up in the Constructors' Championship as well. They're now third. They're now actually a second, I should say, on 83 points. AlphaTauri on the top of the standings at the moment on 130. Williams in third. Still Mercedes and Ferrari. This is not something I ever thought I'd say. At the bottom of the championship without any points. But enough of what happened last week. Let's get on to what's happening this week. And thankfully, in a very un-Silverstone way, bright blue sunshine, just some nice little white fluffy clouds in the Northamptonshire sky.
Yes, and we're lucky we're not in Scotland. It'll just be raining 5 minutes after it just got sunny, and then it will be sunny again, and it'll rain again, and it'll snow, and then it will be a thunderstorm, and it'll be a hurricane. Oh, okay, enough of that, but yeah, you get it. British weather is pretty unpredictable, especially if you are from the UK. Then again, so is Malaysian weather, considering that it's in the equator.
Yeah, I feel like with Malaysian weather, you sort of, when it's going to be dry, in the evening it's going to be a bit more wet, and at least it's still nice and warm. Doesn't look like we are going to get any Malaysian-style downpours, and how I would love to see an actual Malaysian downpour in Formula 1, because it would mean we have got the Malaysian Grand Prix back again. Sepang, definitely one of my favourite circuits, but another fan favourite here, of course, Silverstone, like we said, first used in 1950, was the fastest circuit in F1 in the 1980s. Keke Rosberg, first man ever to set an average 160 mile per hour qualifying lap around this track back in the 80s, and he did it with a puncture on his rear tyre. Shows you how slightly crazy the Finnish world champion was. But anyway, let's see what a debutant can do today. Shazoo Jax heading to start this lap around the Silverstone circuit, down the Hamilton straight there into Abbey, first corner. Can get quite difficult and closer on the first laps. You might see a few cars running wide and into Farm as well before you brake hard for the first real overtaking opportunity at Village, and perhaps might even see a driver dive it down the inside at the loop as well. Just running ever so slightly wide there. He is on the medium tyres at the moment. Wouldn't expect him to qualify in the top 10 of them as Santeri. He left the session and his car has been disqualified for being parked in a dangerous location. Well, that is extremely lucky. Well, unlucky, I should say, for Santeri. Thankfully, he was ghosted, and that allowed him to get out of the way of Jax, who's now just coming through Luffield and Woodcut. Now, this barely even a corner. The next one definitely is a corner. Cobbs, still one of the toughest corners to get right. The drivers have been warned. Don't go over that curb with all four wheels. You do that multiple times, you will get penalised by the stewards, even if the game doesn't. Now it is Maggots, Beckett's and Chappell. A true test still, even in these modern Formula 1 cars before the downforce. Absolutely no chance of going flat out at that part of the circuit. Now heading down the Hangar Straight, 1 minute 3.5 as you do head downhill ever so slightly. Of course, quite a flat track being an airfield. Into Stowe, track limits not as forgiving as they have been over previous years on this year's game. And now finishing the lap, Vale and Club. Might see a lot of drivers battling side by side through here, like we saw Verstappen and Leclerc in 2019. Jax heads towards the finish line. 127.135 is his first time, and they're just so unlucky for Santeri. Just absolutely gutting. He gets kicked out of the session, and then the game disqualifies him.
I just don't understand what happened to him. As we see Brock coming to the line now, he is also on medium tyres, just like his fellow Shazoo member Jax, coming to the final corner and set a sub 127, 126.992. A good time, but it is beaten by Simon, another Shazoo member, who does 26.8 on softs, but that's immediately eradicated by another Shazoo driver, Cohen, a 126.526.
Yeah, there's sort of a pattern with the drivers in this league tonight. It looks like Shazoo Cohen going fastest, Rudy in second, Simon in third. We'll see what Cornet can do as Kryptonite. He goes fastest, 126.484 on a set of the soft tyres. You would obviously expect them to be quicker. Gap is, to be honest, around this track only really about half a second. You might expect it to be more given how important it is to get the tyres right around here. Corday heads towards the line, fastest of everyone, 126.2. Has had a podium earlier on this season. I believe I'll just quickly check the statistics. He does not have a pole position. Cohen got a pole position early on this season. That was the only race he scored points in, and it's great to see Suku back. Has had a pole position, and he's on provisional pole at the moment. Let's see what the championship leader can do, though. He's just started his gap. CRG Gamer, we said it before, qualifying's not his specialty. He just seems to have a consistency that no one else can match.
No, it's just, I mean, to be fair, he has a point. There are no points awarded for pole position, but, you know, it's where the race counts. But, you know, it is good to get up to as far as you can on the grid in qualifying, and even if you're not in pole position, you're really in the mix for the race win if you're right up there. As you can see, CRG Gamer coming through Maggots and Beckett's and Chappell. This was implemented in 1991, so about 30 years ago. Oh, he's invalidated, Luke. That is a real shame. You'll have to go again. But of course, there's about 14 minutes remaining. 12 minutes remaining, sorry. I could barely see with the yellow flag thing.
Sorry to interrupt. Marcus Towler has spun coming out of Cops. I'm not sure whether he was going for another lap or was actually on an in-lap there, but he has got it coming on out of Cops.
I think he was going for another lap, considering his time. He slowed down when I was checking his progress. He slowed down at the finish line, so I'm not sure what happened there. So it didn't look like he was going on another lap, which is quite weird. A 127.866 is what he set. Everyone has to be careful not to cause a collision. Nico has invalidated his lap. Lars on his lap right now. Mercedes have no points as we speak. Lars, of course, his points do not count because he is technically a reserve. He was not here last week, though.
Yeah, Lars he's had to drop to a reserve, unfortunately, but thankfully, at least for the championship battle, he is still able to take part today, even though he won't score any of the points for the Constructors' Championship, like we said. Well, let's see what he can do. He's been sort of the man in the races he's taken part in, the ones closest to gamers. 2 second places in Japan and China, came so close to winning in Bahrain before he did have an incident under the safety car. So he has definitely got the pace, and he's round at Cops, and that just seems to be catching people out on this game. a lot more than it has done on previous ones. I know I've done it many times myself, but that's not really a barrier of where drivers spin. I seem to be able to find all sorts of spaces to spin on this game, but I've noticed quite a lot. Cops, we've seen 2 drivers do it now, does seem to be tricky, and I wonder whether we might see on the next time around Lars and Marcus Towler just take it a bit easier at that corner, just to make sure they get it A, valid, and B, don't spin.
Yeah, as we see CRG Gamer cross the line, takes 3rd position, but going on about Cops, yeah, it's a tricky corner in this game. The handling model has updated about a month ago, so I think it might be a little tougher to get around Cops nice and clean. As you might have seen with those spins, I think you've got to apply a little bit off the throttle pedal for a bit, and then you'll be fine. But my goodness, that is one test of a corner now.
Yeah, and we've just caught the tail end of Dansbury having the exact same moment. Him and Marcus Towler spun to the inside of the corner. We saw, I can't remember who it quite was now, the other car that we saw spinning with the Mercedes of Lars, sorry, he spun to the outside of it. So, the Red Bull and the Mercedes both having trouble at Cops. We've never seen that before in recent Formula 1 history, have we? So Dansbury just, his laps invalidated at this moment in time. 9 minutes 36 remaining, and it is a Shazoo 1-2 at the moment. Zuko ahead of Cornet, AlphaTauri, CRG 3-4 with Gamer and Kryptonite, and Cohen in 5th place at this moment in time. And for the Constructors' Championship, obviously AlphaTauri with that good lead at the moment, but we saw McLaren have a really good run last time around. It will be interesting to see what they do here, because especially Brock, he's the fastest man that has done a lap on the mediums. Be interesting to see how this pace translates now that he's on a set of the softs.
He'd probably prefer if the session ended now, because he's in 11th, and he would be the fastest of those who would get a free choice of tyre. Of course, the top 10 have to start on the tyre they set the fastest lap in, but I'm sure that's going to change momentarily as he starts his second hot lap, I should say. Crossing the line, getting a nice exit out of the club corner, coming through Abbey and then Farm. This is the first 2 corners added in 2010, but they've been the first 2 corners since 2011. And then coming through the arena section here, coming out of Aintree now, through to the Wellington Straight. DRS Pro Blast for Brock, our last week's winner, of course. Santeri has rejoined the session, but he will not be happy with what has happened to him. He will be furious, and he'll have to start at the back of the grid. It's really unfortunate, but there's not much, unfortunately, we can do about it. As something has happened at the first corner. I think it was involving Jax. I'm not sure. He might have had a spin. There was someone very slow in the first corner. I'm not sure what happened there. Brock is improved by 3/10, of course, on the soft tyre right now, as he was on the medium said earlier. Coming through Maggots Chapel now, and to the Hangar Straight. Of course, this is a little different if you're on a motorcycle. If you're seeing MotoGP, which is on ITV this year for some cool reason. They actually do that with real Formula 1 again. Well, they do with Channel 4, but full season. Oh, and Brock has made a mess of it, unfortunately, out of store, and that will be the end of his attempt. But Kryptonite! Look, Kryptonite on top once again by 3 thousandths.
Yeah, he's starting to show some good pace tonight. Kryptonite goes fastest of everyone. Jensen becomes, I don't know, 4th, 5th victim we've had at COP so far. A lot of drivers are seeming to struggle around there at the moment. Cohen, he was improving. He has invalidated his lap. And Veyer runs wide coming out of Stowe. He invalidates his lap as well. And all the drivers just slowing down ever so slightly. Marcus Towler, big slide on that set of the medium tyres. Pole position, of course, at the Canadian Grand Prix. What can the Haas driver do with 7 minutes to go? It's not really been a fantastic season from the Haas team at the moment. Only 11 points. And Marcus Towler, he improves time-wise, but does not improve position-wise. Stays in 13th at his moment in time. His teammate, Modestroll, who hasn't raced for quite a while, he has a bit of a moment coming through Club Corner, gets himself up into 6th place. So last race at the Japanese Grand Prix, which was his only points this season, in 7th. Be interesting to see how he does over the rest of, well, these next few races. Arisa gets himself ahead of Simon into 8th place. So Kryptonite is still fastest at the moment, but we're yet to see Suku, Cornet and Gamer on their second runs.
I'm not sure how you say the Haas driver's name. Is it Modestroll or Modest Roll? Probably both. But as you can see, a few drivers on another outlap. As you can see, going down the order, Nico trying to set another lap. He's coming towards Stowe right now. This is a crucial part of the track, though. You get it wrong, that's it. All your work could go to top, but he has done that very nicely, coming to Vale and then Club. And it's a bit of a sketchy exit out of that corner, but he does go only 11. So does he want to try harder? I'm sure he was. Thomas has slowed down, that's his teammate. Dan Screen on a lap right now, coming through cups as we speak. Does not exceed track limits. He looks fine for the most part, but now coming through Maggots, Beckett's and Chapel. This is probably the toughest corner of the lot. Well, toughest section of the lot, I should say. It is 4 corners after all. He looks like to have got that nicely. He's coming down a hanger straight now to Stowe. He's got the 2 Haas drivers that have set a lap already in front of him, but I'm sure there'll be no interference from them as he comes through to Vale and Club now. Can he improve? Dan Spree in Red Bull coming to the line, and it will be only 17th. Something does not seem right there for the Red Bull driver. Most of the drivers in the pit now, Luke, preparing for their final run.
Yeah, we have got a few drivers out on circuit. Suku in what is for Sol Williams remaining in this session. His teammates trying to last to first challenge, judging by the track chat. Suku, if he has anything to say about it, will be doing a first to first challenge. 126.081 puts him on provisional pole position for now. Gamer, he's invalidated on his run. He comes back into the pits, as does Lars. You don't normally see too many penalties around this circuit, but we are getting quite a few tonight. Nico, he dives his way into the pits as well. Last week's winner, Brock, he's sort of out of kilt with everyone else. He's trying something slightly different, going out at different times, maybe, just maybe to save an extra set of tyres for the race. He's not going to be out there while the track is in peak condition, but at least he is getting clear air. Thank you to everyone that is watching at the moment, and all of you that are in the chat. Make sure to keep your comments coming. Who do you think is going to take pole position? Do you think Gamer's going to get another win, or might this even be the first time this season that we haven't seen the CRG man on the podium? 3rd place last time out, the only time he's yet to be on the top step of the podium. Brock, bit wild there, coming from Luffield, really kicking the rear of that McLaren out. Only in 15th at the moment. It's still a fairly close qualifying session, you've got to say. Top 11 drivers, separated by half a second at the moment. Don't think Nico will be too devastated about being in 11th place, but tyre wear, it's not a massive issue around here. Yes, it's really high pace, but because it's the 3 hardest tyres that Pirelli bring, C1, C2 and C3, it is a very straightforward soft to medium strategy. And I know a lot of drivers have said if you didn't have to stop, you could comfortably do the entire race on mediums.
Yes, you could. I've actually done our league race in the wet. Of course, you don't have to change tyres in the wet. And I was one of the few drivers that were on wet tyres the entire race because it was completely wet. I didn't pit, and apparently I didn't win, but the driver who did win did do the full race on one set of tyres. So, yes, it is possible. I think there was a Tiamat, and I'm not sure if I'm supposed to promote, but there was a famous YouTuber by the name of Ben, I think we all know what I'm talking about, who did the whole race on mediums. So that was interesting. Of course, he got disqualified on the final lap because the game doesn't allow you to take out the mandatory 2 compound rule, but you know. But Brock, as we have just seen, sorry if we went off topic, 30 seconds after he is set, he has gone to 5th place, so very good job from him. But of course, the majority going on the final outlap. This is pretty much a do or die moment for the drivers that want to get up there into the top rows. One of them, of course, would have to be Brock. He is in 5th, but you know, he wants to get even higher. But actually, I don't think he will be. Will he be? No, 2 minutes. I don't see him getting around again. But yeah, you know, Rudy, Monstral, Reset, all in contention. A lot of drivers in contention. Kryptonite has just started his final flyer.
Yeah, Kryptonite on his final run. Cohen at the moment, he's improving by about 1/10 of a second. I think Andrea, he's going to be one of the next cars to cross the line, but he's going for a bit of a warm-up lap and then a second run on that soft tyres. Cohen just gets a bit greedy there, I think, coming through Woodcut and invalidates his lap, so he's not going to be improving on this one. Slows down instantly, might have the fuel, might have the tyres. Try and improve later on. We've got Simon in 11th place at this moment in time. The Ferrari man, just quickly check, he's yet to score any points since he's been full-time for Ferrari. He got 22 in the 3 races when he was reserving for them, so if he just needs to get into that reserve mindset, things might work out well for him as he now heads through the final couple of corners. He's got Elting just ahead of him coming through Chapel here, was giving him a lovely slipstream, and I'm not sure how allowed that is to be perfectly honest. And Elting there gets out of the way. Simon only less than a tenth of a second up at this moment in time. How close things are, though, that will be good enough to get him into the top 10, perhaps head over the hat of Modestrol. We see Brock retire in the pits, so what can Shizou Simon then do? And the Ferrari driver, as he heads around club for possibly the final time, heads to the line, does find a bit more time in the final sector, gets himself up into 6th place, trying to see if any big name is improving at the moment. Kryptonite, he's backed off on this lap. I wonder if he is going to have time to set another one. Yeah, 30 seconds, he should still manage to get around to set another lap. And Gamer as well, he's also going to have to rush his way around. A lot of these drivers relying on the second run.
Yes, and this is going to be very crucial because, of course, if they set the fastest time with these tyres, they will have to start on them. The two AlphaTauri drivers coming around. Kryptonite has crossed the line in time, but GOG Gamer's got to hurry. He's got about 10 seconds. I think he's going to make it. Yes, he's going to make it. So he will set his final lap. Can he pick up any time through this lap, though? It's with the tyre wear, it sounds skeptical, but you never know. This is Gamer we're talking about, Luke, so anything can happen.
Yeah, anything can happen. Suku only just making it across the line in time as well. Checkered flag is out. Rudy in 8th. Nico got himself up to 6th. What can Andrea do? He heads towards the line, goes up into 11th, so currently leading on that alternate strategy. Don't think he'll be too devastated about that. Modestrol's not improving at this moment in time. Doesn't need to find much to get himself ahead of Lars. Can he do it through the final corner? Gets himself up into 8th place. Jensen has retired from the session. Just trying to see where that is. If it is a crash out on track anywhere, I think he might have just backed off and retired in the end. Cohen goes fastest of everyone. 126.0 for him. Simon, he dives it into the pits. Cornet is improving ever so slightly, so he could make it briefly. A Shizou 1, 2, 3. We have still got, obviously, a lot of other cars to come round. Cornet heads across the line, gets himself up into 2nd place, misses out on pole position by just a few thousandths of a second. Lars improves ever so slightly, only enough though to keep him in 11th place. He might not get knocked down by his WOR teammate, but we say stays in 13th for now. Danspring comes across the final corner. He's going to stay in 18th. Here come the AlphaTauris. Kryptonite across the line, stays in 4th place. His teammate is improving, but he's invalidated, so Gamer won't be improving whatsoever. And I think that is pretty much it then for qualifying. Suku heads towards the line, stays in 3rd place. Incredibly close between those top 3 drivers. We've got Rudy heading towards the finish line as well. He has well and truly backed off. I think he's run out of fuel in the Red Bull in the end there. So it is Cohen. It's Cohen who goes fastest of everyone. Cornet is 2nd and Suku in 3rd. Shizou looking the team to beat tonight.
Yeah, Shizou 1, 2, 3, and then it's the two AlphaTauris, followed by another Shizou driver. The top 8, 5 of them are Shizou drivers. This is going to be insane. And you've got Kryptonite, Gamer, and Nico playing spoiler for those. But I don't think they're phased by that. I think they'll be really happy with what they've achieved in qualifying. It's given them great optimism for the race. But yeah, I'm really surprised Dan Spreen just didn't be able to set a lap. We're waiting for Nico to retire in the pits so we can continue on. But yeah, that is your order. As you can see, of course, Santeri, who I believe Santeri was pole position last week, not going to be starting anywhere near that. In fact, the very back because of an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, certainly disqualified early on in the session after disconnecting. His AI sort of parked it on the racing line and thought, that'll do. Although, to be fair, trying to get parked around Silverstone, can't really blame him for picking that as a free spot. Cohen, though, fastest of everyone on a 126.011. 16 thousandths of a second between the top 3, with Cornet in 2nd, Suku in 3rd. Kryptonite ahead of his teammate and championship leader Gamer. The AlphaTauri is 4th and 5th. Last week's race winner Brock is in 6th. Nico is 7th. Simon 8th. Modestrol and Rudy on the 5th row of the grid. Lars will have a free choice of tyres, starting with in 11th. Can Andrea make it onto the podium again from 12th? And then it's Rise, Marcus Towler, Jax, Tomer, Jensen, Danspreen. Elting didn't set a clean time. And Santeri, he didn't get a chance to set a time whatsoever. Be interested to see how he recovers. Be interesting to see maybe the tactics. I'd say the tactics of Gamer. I think we pretty much know what he's going to do. He just relies. He knows his race pace is better than his qualifying pace. Just take it nice and easy. Rely on maybe other drivers making mistakes, which we have seen happen so far this season.
Yes, and here we are with the race. As you can see, it's a little cloudy here. Let's hope it's not a call for concern that it's going to be raining. Of course, that would change the race up completely. We are waiting for all the drivers to ready up. Of course, this is going to take a while considering, just want to adjust their setups a little bit. Of course, they can't change too much because most of it is restricted. I believe they can change, like, for example, their brake bias, etc. But, it's going to be interesting how they will fare on this hallowed track.
Yeah, certainly will be interesting, definitely, like you said, to see how they do around Silverstone, one of the most famous tracks in F1, and as we've already talked about, quite a lot has changed over the years. 5.891 kilometres, 18 turns, 3.660 miles, 2 DRS straights down the Hangar Straight and down the Wellington Straight, Brooklands and Stone. Not exactly the easiest corners to make an overtake into either. As you can see, the drivers just getting out onto their formation lap. Tyre choices almost exactly what you'd expect on this game so far on F1 2021, with the exception of Eltink, only driver outside of the top 10 on the soft tyres. He'll be looking to make the moves early on, especially before the DRS is activated.
Not sure why Eltink is taking the sauce, but it is down to him. Of course, you're not forced to go on a certain tyre, except if you are in the top 10, of course. Eltink actually did not set a time within the 107% of pole position, but of course, because we're really nice, we don't have that stupid rule. Of course, he is allowed to start, he just needs to start in 19th. Of course, Santeri, unfortunately, got kicked out of qualifying for some... We don't know why he got... It says parts in a dangerous location, but I don't know how he left the session. What can he do?
Yeah, I think he definitely got screwed over by his AI ever so slightly there, which is such a shame for him. But he's just got to try and put it to the back of his mind and forget about it. Last week, of course, he did start from pole position and had a mistake early on in the race, so we know he's got the pace. It's just not come together for whatever reason this season, and we'll have to see what he can do in the Williams. His teammate quite a lot higher up the grid, and you've got Cohen and Cornet as well. These three have all shown pace on occasion, but obviously yet to get wins yet. And they've got Gamer there who, at least for drivers, know Gamer can be beaten now. He's not invincible.
Yep, that's true, but he still has that podium streak intact, so he's looking to build on that. Of course, Santeri can hope. Of course, we did see Ruben Vallejo start from, I think, pretty much the back and then win the race. Of course, that was later taken away due to a penalty, but still, it was incredible to see that, considering the circumstances in Bahrain. But this is a different level altogether. PlayStation, of course, it's going to be very different. Some people, the fuel of the car might be a little different, but the game is the same. So, everyone coming to the grid now. Cohen just about to line up, coming around the final corner. This is going to be interesting to see how they fare through these sweeping first corners into a heavy braking zone of a third turn of, what's the name of it again?
Village.
Village, thank you. I keep getting them mixed up, like Vale and everything.
Oh,
It is tough.
I'm definitely getting Vale and Club mixed up at some point over the next 26 laps. Don't worry, as long as the drivers don't get mixed up with what parts of the track on, then we should be fine, as we do wait for the lights to come on here then to get the British Grand Prix underway at Silverstone. We have got 5 lights. And we're underway there on the PlayStation tier with the British Grand Prix. It looks like a pretty decent start there from Cornet. Couldn't quite get alongside Cohen into turn 1, so it's as you were for those front 5 drivers, really. A bit of shuffling around in the background, but it is Cohen in the lead as we come into the first braking zone. Cornet in second, Suku, Kryptonite, Gamer. We've got Brock there. It looks like Nico is trying to get a move done on Brock. Jensen's had a bit of trouble in the background, so he's off circuit already. I'm sure he'll be trying to make sure he can somehow stay within the DRS range. Simon and Nico battling as well, and it looks like Modestrol might try a bit of a move here around the outside of the Aston Martin. Very brave to do on the first lap of the race. Can't quite get alongside. He's got Simon almost blocking the path off in front of him, and now Nico's trying to go all the way around the outside at Luffield. You see this so often, drivers using the different lines, and they're still bumping and grinding as they're about to head up to Cop. Someone is going to have to yield here, otherwise you are going to see an absolutely massive accident. And they do all get through there almost unscathed. Simon having to run quite a long way off the circuit, and still Modestrol trying to keep a nose in there with Nico. I think now they're just going to go single file until we get to Stowe, and we might see the moves happening again. Lars pretty close to the back of the Haas driver as well. But as we near the end of lap 1 for the lead drivers, we've got an Alpine at the back and we've got an Alpine at the front of the field. It is Cohen still leading from Cornet and Suku.
Glad to see everyone got through the first few corners almost clean. Unfortunately, I can't say the same for Elting and Jensen. And look at this! Monstro going for a move on Nico and fail! And nearly gets him, but Nico holds on, going through club as they start lap number 2. Corn leads them down to first straight. Let's see what is happening. There is a spinner, and it is Toma who is spun out at club and has to get back on track. He is plumb last now, as we can see. There's a Marcus is in the wall at Farm, and that is I don't know how that happened, but he probably lost it out of Abbey. It's a very difficult corner to get right, and if you get it wrong, it could be catastrophic. As we see the two Alpha Tauris trying to get anywhere closer to Shizu's, but the Shizu's drivers looks like they have it nicely. 1, 2, 3, very nicely. Luke, sorry,
yeah.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, they are in different teams, obviously, on this game, but they are part of the same Shizu esports stable. Just trying to look back and actually see if Marcus Towler, yeah, he has got damage, missing that right front end plate, so he's going to come into the pits. Absolute nightmare after starting on the mediums. I don't think the softs are going to last 24 laps, unfortunately for him, but hey, it's Silverstone, you might be able to give it a go. DRS will be activated next time around. First time the drivers can use it is down the Wellington Straight, and I think we might see it down the Hangar Straight as well, as Gamer gets ahead of Kryptonite there. I've got to think that was a bit of a negotiated move.
Yeah, it looks like it. Of course, no DRS activated. It did look like Gamer was given the nod to go and challenge the Shizu drivers. Kryptonite knows what Gamer's pace is like, as the fastest lap goes tumbling down as CG Gamer currently holds it. The Shizu drivers did have it for a while, but now it is Gamer DRS enabled, so this means it's game time. What will Gamer's first move be? It will be on Suku, but how will he execute it? That is the question. They come out of the final corner before the DRS, and Marcus Howell, I think he's given up. He knows he's well behind. Yep, he is out of the race. He has had enough after only 2 laps, and that is very unfortunate to see the Haas driver go out there, but it doesn't look like Gamer has gained anything on the Shizu stable. It's a 1, 2, 3 for Shizu as we speak. But look at this, Eltink is passing Andrea. He had a horrible start, Eltink. A horrible qualifying, but it looks like Eltink still battling with Andrea. They are banging wheels coming through Woodcote. This might not end well if neither of them yield at Cops. They come through Cops, but Eltink gets it done nicely into 14th.
Yeah, Eltink, he's definitely made hay while the sun shines on those soft tyres. You can see the position changes on the left-hand side of your screen now. Eltink's gone up 5, Santeri up 4. They're the biggest winners, biggest losers. Marcus Towler obviously outside of the race, out of the race, down 6, and Toma down 3 at this moment in time. As at the lead of the race, Cornet gets onto the back of Cohen, can't quite get close enough, and that's a feature of this circuit. It's not a heavy braking zone after either of the DRS ranges, so only braking very late, only short braking. It's really difficult to make a move done. If Cornet can't do it on Cohen, and the car in front of him's not got a DRS, I think Suku, Gamer, Kryptonite, all those in the rest of that train, which goes all the way down to Santeri in 16th, they're going to find it very difficult indeed.
Yes, they are. Elting has just set the fastest lap on the soft tyres in 14th, so it must mean his pace is great, but remember these tyres do wear out as you get to about lap 11, lap 12. That is pretty much the pit window. Oh, and he's had a bit of a slide out of Aintree, and he's actually getting challenged by Andrea. He goes wide again. Andrea going to try and get that 14th place back, but he isn't going to get it into Brooklands. Elting holds on to the meantime. Will Andrea challenge through Luffield and Woodcote as we see Jack and Risa, the 2 Alfa Romeo drivers? They could be doing some battling too, or will it be a choreographed move? We'll have to find out as they come down to Cops. But look at this. Gamer Luke is right behind Soku. He is planning to make the moves. And it's going to start right here. Corny as well, as there's a yellow flag. Jensen is out. Jensen is out. He's crashed and it's a safety car, so that will put Gamer's challenges on hold for the meantime.
Yeah, now will we see the drivers come into the pits and get the medium tyres on? We've already said they can make it from the end of the race, from lap 0. So there's, I don't know whether you go for that now. And yeah, a lot of them are coming into the pits. What the Alpha Tauris do, Kryptonite going very slowly, I think just to try and create that gap and negate the double stack ever so slightly. I think who was the really unlucky people in all of that is, there's all sorts of shenanigans going on the pits here. Nico's got a penalty for a severe collision. Eltic's been disqualified for blocking the pit lane. What on earth?
What
has happened in all that? I think I think some of the drivers went so slow coming into the pit lane. Different people got caught out. Eltic's been disqualified from the session. I would love to see what happens, because I think there has to be a steward's inquiry. Curran's coming out on the hard tyres.
Wait, I just do not understand. That will, if that does not get investigated, I am going to fly all the way to Australia and never come back. What in the world happened there? I have absolutely no clue. Of course, we'll see it in the steward's office, but my word, that is really unfortunate for Elting. I don't think he deserves it. I think something happened which caused him to spin out. But my goodness, it's actually changed the leaderboard quite much. Kryptonite's down at 14th, COG Gamers in 8th, Risa, who did not pit, in fact 5 drivers did not pit, Risa, Andreas, and Terry, Dance Green, and Toma. I don't see why pit, because they are on mediums. Of course, they are going to try and maybe gamble and see if their tyres can hold out better than the new tyres are, and maybe get a free pit stop if there's a virtual safety car or safety car later in the race. But my goodness, very unfortunate for some drivers, as you can see. Modest Stroll is down in club last. He must have had damage, I think. And a lot of drivers with 5-second penalties. Nico, Simon, and Modest Stroll all got penalties. Corin has a 3-second time penalty for cutting corners too much. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I was on board with Modest Stroll, and he was sort of stopped in the pit entry, I think, trying to avoid crashing into some cars around him, because we have seen this in Formula 1. It's a yellow flag out on track. Drivers can still kind of race in the pit entry, and it's pretty narrow at Silverstone. You're going to struggle to get 2 cars side by side. So I think Simon, Modest Stroll's, and Nico's penalties were all for severe contact, a severe collision. Whether Elting's been spawned, whether he's gone into the back of someone, whether he's stopped dead and then been disqualified, whether he's changed his mind late, I'm not so sure. Modest Stroll comes into the pits, who can serve that penalty under the safety car, and if I was him, I'd be putting on another set of mediums if you got a fresh set, and he might not be in too bad of a situation here later on in this race. It is Risa, though, who is the actual leader, and Suku, you've got to say, he's the net leader at the moment. He's on the best set of tyres, and the Alpine of Kuhn in front of him has a 3-second time penalty.
Korn's actually under AI as I look at Suku. I don't know if that is against the rules or he needs to get something, but he is on the hard tyres, so he's actually at a big disadvantage. Modest Stroll won't have anything lost, and nothing of value was lost as he goes into pits for, I believe, just a tyre change. It looks like, though, he was going to get a wing. He may have had something happen to him. But there he goes, he's out there in the open once again, and when he catches up, the race will probably begin again, because that's how it works, of course. We'll wait for all the... I see what he's done! Of course, you can serve your penalty while the safety car... you cannot serve drive-through penalties or stop-go penalties, but you can definitely serve time penalties, and so you don't have them added to the end of the race. So that's a smart move by Modest. It might help him in the later stage of the race, of course, and a free tyre change as well. So that, in fact, actually... Well, in fact, he was starting on mediums. If you were starting on, say, softs, and it was like easy for two, if one half was softs and one half was medium exactly, you could like do a loophole, pit for mediums, go back to the pit lane after that, go to softs, and you have used both tyre compounds. But yeah, Modest Stroll doesn't have much to lose. He needs to hurry up. Yeah, he pretty much has. He's went from medium. Wait, what did he start?
Medium to hard to medium, I believe, is what Modest Stroll has done here. So, not a bad idea whatsoever. I'm surprised we didn't see Simon coming to the pits as well. I think he did. I think he did actually start on the soft tyres and then go on to the hards. But I'm surprised we didn't see him coming as well. Looks like the safety car will be staying out one more lap. Modest Stroll's not going to catch up to the pack at the moment. That's good news for everyone. There shouldn't be any tyre wear worries for anyone getting punctures in this race. Obviously, those top 5 drivers have not yet pitted, as you can see there, so they will have to come into the pits for some softs later on, as Jax is now deciding he's going to get rid of that set of the hard tyres, and he's going to come in, as is Simon. It's almost like they're listening to us. Both get rid of those hards, put on a set of the medium tyres, and they're the best tyre to be on, really, at this circuit, especially with 20 laps to go.
I'd like to correct you on something. It couldn't have been possible for Modest Stroll, because he actually started 9th, so he had to start on the softs, because he did set his fastest time in softs, so he's actually used all 3 compounds, so he had already used both tyre compounds. But I might have actually planned to go hard because he knew he had a penalty. He wanted to get rid of the penalty because he was last anyway. So now I know he's got around that. It's actually a pretty smart move. And in fact, Modestro has gained a couple positions from Yax and Simon. We are waiting for them to get back out and join the queue again so we can get racing once again. Top 5, a bit of a tricky situation. Not all bad, of course, because the medium tyres can last a long time. They will hit the jackpot though if the safety car does come back out in the closing stages of the race. But to be honest, are we really prepared for that situation?
I'm used to it now. I've seen it so many times this season in this league and other leagues. Reese is almost doing the old Lewis Hamilton trick here of trying to get alongside the safety car and being like, "Come on, mate, you're in an Aston Martin. Speed up some. Try to get some heat into these tyres here." Of course, the Aston Martin is driving as fast as it almost can. For an F1 car, that is incredibly slow. The downforce through the corners, obviously keeping these speeding up. As long as you don't hit the safety car, you will get yourself a disqualification for that. You're going to see the lights come off on the safety car any moment now.
Yep.
There we go. It is in this lap. And it is now up to Risse to control the pack. No overtaking until the start-finish line, of course. It's not really the most awkward track this for safety car restart. So as long as you don't mess it up into Vale and Club, it should be fairly straightforward for Risse. He just doesn't want to give the drivers too much of a slipstream heading through Albion Farm and into Village. How good is he going to be on those medium tyres? How good is Cohen going to cope on that set of the hard tyres? Well, if they're communicating, expect him to maybe let Suku pass. If not, Suku is going to be all over the back of him. I think they're going at the front of the field then. Reese is putting the hammer down and we are going to be back to green flag action. With 19 laps remaining in the British Grand Prix, it's still Reese with a pretty good restart from Andrea and Santeri. Spreen pretty close to the back of Santeri. In fact, Cohen all over the back of Thomas, who's not had the greatest of restarts here. Down the inside, the Alpine driver's going to dive. There's contact. He's round. He is around. Just couldn't quite make it stick on those hard tyres. Then he's now sent plummeting to the back of the field. That's gapped the top 4 drivers quite a bit. Thomas with that nightmare restart. Camera angle not really helping too much there with the contact, but it's the physics on this game. Inside car taps the outside car. 9 times out of 10, the inside driver's sent spinning, and that's Cohen down at the back.
Yeah, I don't know who to blame with that. Cohen was, I think he was trying to dive inside to Toma, but either way, that is Cohen to the back. As they come around Cox right now, Suku trying to get close to Toma. It's to him now for Shizu to get past the OP driver Toma, as in OP the team. He's not OP, but you know, he could be. But he is coming around. No DRS, remember, after Chapel, of course, that is on lap 10. That is 3 laps after the safety car came in. Of course, that is under the FIA rules. But Soku cannot find a way past Tommy yet, but he is preparing for a move as we try and look and scavenge through the field to see any battles. We see Modestro right behind Kryptonite, who had to, I think, double. Did he have to double stack? I'm not sure, but he is down to 13th, so something must have happened there. I think he might have had to. But Modestro, oh my goodness, he's right on the gearbox of Kryptonite. Is he going to try and make a move into the arena section? No, it does not look like he will at Village. Long way to go though, Luke.
Yeah, just stays behind for now. Definitely. Kryptonite did have double stack, of course, so that is what has cost him. And he's got Modestro all over the back of him at the moment. Kryptonite goes defensive. Oh, that was tiny bit naughty. I'm not sure whether Modestro, I think he thought there was going to be a bit of a gap left, and Kryptonite thought there's no way he's going to go into this ever-closing gap, and that could have been almost like a plane crash at the old RAF base here. Kryptonite and Modestro still side by side. All they're doing is costing themselves time and allowing those drivers ahead of them to get away. This will be fantastic. He spins round, and I'm fairly sure, I think we've got to say there to Modestro, should have probably just given that one up a bit earlier than he did. He's now down to the back of the field. Kryptonite's lost out as well. He's lost momentum, and that's Jackson Simon who've got ahead of him. Stubbornness just getting the better of both drivers, I'm afraid.
Yeah, and Soku trying to make a move on Toma around the outside at Stowe, but Toma defends his position nicely. But no, Soku's coming back! He's going to go on the outside at Vale! Who is going to get out on top? It's going to be Soku. A fantastic move by the Suzuki driver, but yes, we said Modestro should have yielded to Kryptonite, I think. Kryptonite? Yeah, it had to be. Kryptonite's actually fallen down to 15th as a result, by the looks of it.
Oh,
As
Thomas made a
what
mistake.
cover?
Thomas made a mistake, I think, coming through Abbey and Farm, so he's now dropped slightly down the field. That promotes, obviously, Gamer, Cornet, and some of the others. Lars and Nico are battling. It's been a bit of a wild lap for the Aston Martins at this moment in time. There's contact between them, and that's Nico who's having to go really wide. Take the 2014 Kimi Raikkonen line, but thankfully there's not a drain gully for him to end up spearing off towards the wall. But very lively lap from the Aston Martins. The safety car doesn't seem to have made things much safer. There's been plenty of wheel banging since it came in, and we might have a bit more here. Rudy and Nico, please not again, not side by side through corps. We've seen it in real Formula 1, we've seen it once already tonight. It does look like Nico has got far enough ahead at this moment in time, although no, makes a slight mistake, goes slightly deep into Cops then, but in the end they all have to stay single file, of course. DRS has been enabled this time around, but at the front of the field it's only Danspreen who's not within a second of the car in front, and Suku, Gamer and the rest aren't really close enough to make an effect at this time. In fact, this time around, as for the lead of the race, Andrea has managed to get himself past Risa.
Sorry for interruption there, but yeah, Andrea into the lead of Risa. Another update is Lars got past Tomer at cut, so brilliant move from Lars. Sorry if you missed that there, but as we see, Andrea has now set the fastest lap, but that is immediately taken away from him by Stoku, and that surely will come tumbling down soon enough, because these drivers are going to go into the soft tyres soon, where they have more grip, of course. As I am currently on board with Stoku right now, who's all over the back of Dan's screen. Used versus not so much used, I should say, because of course 10 laps versus 5. Soku right on the back of Dan's screen. It's a breeze for Soku into fourth he goes. But look at this! CRG Gamer's going for a move as well! Take that!
Yeah, Gamer doing
it.
Gamer doing exactly what he had to do in that situation. Just the door was open there, and Gamer obviously with a much better run with the DRS as well gets ahead of Danspreen now. He's going to have the DRS on the back of Suko, so that's going to be something to watch as well. Santeri's had a brilliant first 10 laps, obviously helped by the safety car and the majority of the drivers pitting. He wanted to do a last to first challenge. He might not stay in first place, but he might get up there at some point as Cornet makes a move there, coming through Marius and Beckett. That is not where you normally see an overtake happen at the front of the field, though, with drivers just staying where they are for now. I don't think Gamer, is he going to be close enough round the outside? He was going to try it there, but Suko shutting the door in his face rather abruptly. The Williams stays in fourth. If these two start battling, that could help the front three drivers.
It's coming evident now that Fresher's medium tyres are ruling the roost. Dan's screen has fallen back a lot of positions. He's lost 4 positions this lap, and now it's down in 8th as we see Santeri getting very close to Risa. He's trying to plan a move as they come to the Wellington Straight. Of course, both World Online Racing Team drivers, the esports team that is, not the league, so that's even better. And we're not biased, we're totally neutral here. As they come down the Wellington Straight, doesn't look like there's any change in the technical. They have closed up, but Gamer couldn't get past Soku either. Doesn't look like much of change. Oh, and Lars actually hit Dan's screen in the back there, and I hope that hasn't done much damage to Lars. As they come round, Lars is going to try and go for a move at Woodcote. He's got to be careful not to cut the track. He might trigger the warning system. He's not going to go over Cox, as he knows he's not. He plays it safe. Oh, he goes very wide at Cox, though, Lars does. And controversial, but he does get through at Maggots and Beckett despite going wide. Is that cause for an investigation, going wide? He might have gained an advantage from that.
Yeah, I think we'll be interested to see if it does get reported. There's no doubt he was nowhere near the racing line, but yeah, whether he was going to say I was inevitably making the move anyway and Danspreen sort of closed the door off, we'll have to wait and see about that. He's not giving the place back, so Lars clearly thinks that is a fair move. We are now seeing those fresh medium runners get onto the back of those on the older medium tyres. Suku's now within a second. That might actually help him out ever so slightly because he's going to have Santeri, his teammate, giving him the DRS. Nearly at the halfway point in this race then, as Kuhn sets the fastest lap of the race on the hard tyres. I was not expecting to see that. At any point, again for him, what might have been. He's had a pole position already this season, got a podium in that race with 3rd place, the only time he has scored points, and he's going to need a bit of a miracle, I think, on those hards to score points here, getting all crossed up as he comes into Aintree there, coming out of the loop. Gamer still on the back of Suku as Tomer now makes the move past Danspreen. These two seem to be struggling on those older mediums a lot more than the others, so I wonder if in the next lap or two, they'll come in and put on the softs.
Yeah, so it's getting around that time, Luke, where you're starting to think, when should we pit, when should we pit? And it is coming to the pit window for these medium tyre runners, so looking at 14, 15, 16 laps. But yeah, as Bon Jovi would say, whoa, we're halfway there. Lap 14 is about to begin once Andrea gets around the third sector of this 13th lap. Nico gets another penalty. I do believe that is, it's his second penalty. Remember, he also had that 5-second penalty for what happened during the safety car. So 8 seconds of penalties total for him. But Santeri and Dreyer chasing down Risa now. Oh, and Santeri nearly runs to the back of Andrea Vale as they come around to start lap 14. And my goodness, I think his teammate Soku has given him a bump as there's a yellow flag in sector 3. Not sure what happened, but
there's another one. Sorry to interrupt, Logan. There's another one here. Danspreen has had an incident. Cohen's retired in the pit, so I'm not sure whether something's happened on the way into the pits or something strange there. There's a virtual safety car as Andrea and Santeri were battling there. It's going to be pulled in, of course, by the time they get around. They won't be able to get a cheap pit stop out of this. But yeah, something's happened on the way into the pits. Nico needs a new front wing, so he gets rid of that, gets rid of his 5-second penalty. He's going to come out on a set of the soft tyres. I think Nico's had a bit of a moment. Danspreen's lost his entire front wing. Cohen had to come into the pits for some reason and he retired. Yeah, answers on a postcard again. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been some very strange incidents in this British Grand Prix so far, and it might be interesting to see what the stewards make of them if they do get reported, of course. We're on lap 14 of 26. As Logan said, we're halfway there. Don't think, well, the medium runners that started the race on the mediums are definitely living on a prayer that this safety car lasts a tiny bit longer just so they can get a bit of a cheap pit stop, but it doesn't look to be, imagine it will come in the next few seconds, of course, once we've seen maybe Nico get away from the danger area. So Risa, he got back into the lead just before that VSC. That might be important.
Yeah, as we can see, this is a horrible situation for Danspreen. He's lost like 4 or 5 positions after the safety car came in on these older older mediums, I should say. And it's just got even worse. He lost his whole front wing. He's going to have to pit. And the safety car has ended, so he's not going to get anything out of this. I would just, well, I wouldn't give up, but that's what I would be feeling like right now. Don't give up, please. As we have seen in some races, when you retire the car, it's actually ghosted. Yeah, Danspreen's retired from this. I'm honestly, no offense, no surprise there. It's just not been his day. And hopefully he comes back bigger and better next time.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say him and Cohen sort of lost out in that VSC period. One driver who didn't, Risa, he's 1.6 seconds ahead of Andrea. The whole point of a VSC is it keeps the gaps the same, but if you're quite a long way away from your delta, which Andrea must have been, because Risa obviously didn't get a penalty, then this is what happens here. Danspreen leaves for session. Hopefully that doesn't cause any issues, because I do believe he might well have been the host, so hopefully this doesn't... Hopefully this doesn't cause any problems then. So we've got Risa leading, Andrea in second, Santeri in third position at this moment in time. Suku fourth, Gamer in fifth. He's in a net second place. And again, Gamer, he just seems to quietly work his way up the order, wait for other drivers around him to make mistakes, get the overtakes done when he needs to. And of course, once the top 3 pits, Suku's not going to have the DRS and he might have a bit of a tough job keeping the championship leader behind him as Santeri dives down the back inside of Andrea. The Williams is up into second. Are we going to start to see some pit stops soon? As Santeri and Andrea still battling side by side. Who I think, judging by how Santeri takes that corner, he does get it right from club. He takes that nice and steady. He's going to stay in that position. Tomer gets a penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I wonder if that's going to be the end of his race or if he's going to put on the soft tyres and see what he can do.
He went too fast in the pit lane. He doesn't show any intention of retiring. He's not clipped the self-destruct button yet. He is coming into the pits for soft tyres, but it's just getting worse for the Aston Martins. It's just not their day. The only Aston Martin that's done well today is the safety car. yeah, certainly. He's done a fantastic job at the moment, of course. The reason why it is called a safety car, the other two are down at the back, obviously, on their set of soft tyres. No points for a fastest lap. So, unfortunately for them, they can't aim for that at this moment in time. Nico has just got the fastest lap of this race. Risa has now got a 2.1 second lead. Now, if you're on these medium tyres,
Do you wait as long as possible, hoping there's a safety car, knowing pretty much whatever they do now, the chances of them getting points is very slim because of how long of a pit lane it is around here. So do you stay out of the circuit, hope there's another safety car coming for a free pit stop, or do you just come in at the normal time and somehow try and recover your way up the field? It's going to be tough for either of those top three to work their way a long way up the order, as Andrea now gets down the inside of Santeri back into second.
A great move from Andrea there, and Jack's past Rudy for 9th, as you can see on this leaderboard. Kryptonite past Simon, just 1 away from the points he is now. No one coming into the pits yet, but yeah, as you said, the safety car will turn the race on its head and will be a godsend for the top 3 right now. Of course, these drivers yet to pit. You have to pit, as we have mentioned, due to the rules stipulated under wherever, well, I believe it is in the WR rules as well, but FIA do say you have to pit. Whoa, Santeri right next to Andrea. He's got to be careful not running back on. Andrea actually has a bit of a weak connection, I have to say, as Monostro has passed. Actually, they're both battling. Simon right next to Monostro as we come through Atri. Now, is there going to be another move? No, there is not. And in fact, I do believe Monostro had the DRS there. He made the move at the loop.
Yeah, I think obviously they would have both had it, I think, off the back of Kryptonite anyway, but yeah, good timing from Monostro. Gets that move done. He's now up into 12th. That will become 9th at the pit stop period. You're talking 26, 27 seconds for a pit stop. The gap between Risi and Simon, only 9.8 at this moment in time, so they're going to find it really tough, these medium runners that started on the mediums, that is, to work their way up the field and perhaps get some more points. Risi still in the lead, then Andrea second, Santeri third. He's got Suku all over the back of him at this moment in time, and the two of them don't look to be working together. They are just dragging each other along. It is keeping him safe from CRG Gamers. Monostro's really making some moves on this lap. Gets past Kryptonite. He is up into 11th place as Andrea, first driver off those mediums, into the pits to go onto the softs. Kryptonite gets himself a penalty. Now, is this undercut going to work for the McLaren?
We'll have to find out. The top 2 staying out as they wish. Santeri now being challenged by his teammate of all people. Now, will this be a choreographed move from the Williams team, or are they just going to battle each other out? These are different teams, of course, in terms of esports stables, but not in this league. But doesn't look like Soku's close enough to make a move on Santeri. Actually, Gamer's closer to him, but Lars is actually battling with Brock right now. Brock, they are going side by side, and Brock makes the move at Brooklands. Will Lars come out in response? That is the question. We'll have to cut away from that as Gamer is getting closer to Soku as we speak. Coming towards tops now. This is where it can be make or break in some occasions. CRG Gamers had a fantastic exit now. He's right behind Soku. He's preparing to make the move at the hangar straight, but will he keep his enemies close as they come out of Chapel now? Sorry. Gamer coming out in the final corner. Soku goes for the move on Santeri. Santeri is backing off. He knows that CRG Gamer is right behind him. Soku has now got CRG Gamer all over him. Can he fend him off? I'm not sure, considering, well, they are both on 12 laps medium tyres, but you know, CRG Gamer's pace is stonking in the race. It's going to be a crazy finish, I have to tell you, Luke.
Yes, certainly. 8 laps to go. Risi still staying out on track. Lars and Brock going side by side again. Coming through Abbey. And Lars just gets himself ahead for now. I think Brock's going to try and fight it back. These two are looking pretty good at the moment for that battle in second in the championship. Lars is ahead in that battle at the moment by only 2 points. So if Brock does beat him to 6th place, or to 5th place, it could be, as there we go. Brock gets himself back ahead of Lars. The Mercedes man just making a slight mistake. These two could be tied on points for 2nd place in the championship at the end of this race, as Lars thinks about one down the inside. Thankfully, that didn't happen. This is going to be intriguing, seeing how this lap goes. Can Suku keep Gamer behind him for the last 13 laps of this race? The Williams has had the DRS off the car in front of him. This time around, he's not going to, of course. The Gamer, he's got plenty of DRS, both of them in the 80+%. They don't have to worry about that. They don't have to worry about Risa, who is 2 seconds up the road, but on really old medium tyres. They're going to catch that up pretty quickly, or he will get out of the way. Has Gamer been close enough through Maggots, Beckett and Chapel to get this move done? It looks like he certainly has. Suku's not even bothering to defend on this occasion. That is the move done then. CRG Gamer is up into second. Cornet trying to follow through as well. I think we're going to see a lot of these two swapping for the rest of this race.
Yes, we are. In fact, Corney, another Soku driver, and Tomer has out of the race and at cups. Now, what is this going to be? Is this going to be what we have feared, what Riese has wanted? We'll have to find out. But Soku and Corney, as we said, the two Shizou drivers right behind Gamer, and they want that position back. But is there any indication of a virtual safety car? I don't see it happening, which is weird because Jensen crashed there on lap number 4, and that brought out the safety car.
Oh, sorry to interrupt, Logan. Modestroll, he was battling with Jax, and he's gone round all that hard work he's done, working his way up the order. He is now down to 12th place, last of those on the medium tyres. He's going to have to try and fight his way up the order as Jax and Kryptonite are now battling for the final points positions, 9th and 10th.
No safety car. That is interesting. It's not what Riese wanted. In fact, Corney's right behind Soku. This is for the podium position. Well, to be fair, Riese's yet to pit. This is for next second, in fact. Gamer trying to run away as much as he can, but no, the two Shizou drivers still hounding him, and they want that position back. Because they're going to try and work as a stable, not maybe in separate teams, but as a stable, they're going to try and go for it. And Modestroll's had another spin. We can't go at that right now. Look at this! The two Shizou drivers right next to Gamer, but no, Gamer holds on to the net lead for now, and Soku and Corney right next to each other. As are they going to try and make a move as Corney? But no, it's Soku that still holds on to third place overall. Net second, I'd have to say. Santeri still holding on with those 20-lap old medium tyres. He still has to pit as well, as Modestroll is being overtaken by Andrea as we speak. He's actually lost his entire front wing, Stroll. It's very unfortunate for him. He's went off the track. It's just gone all wrong for the Haas team tonight. Look at this big train from 2nd to 7th. Look, it is insane. Can there be any moves here? It doesn't look like it from looking at the timing sheets. Gamer still holding on, but everyone is coming for him.
Yeah, they're all obviously still hounding the back of Gamer at the moment. Jax is starting to make some moves up the order. He's got ahead of Rudy. He's up into 9th. This is, of course, a long way off that battle for what is effectively the lead of the race. Riese and Santeri have not pitted yet. So your net order, the net 1, 2, 3 is Gamer, Suku and Corney. Brock and Lars in a net 4th and 5th at this moment in time. Been a bit of a race of attrition. You can see we've had 6 retirements at the moment. Modestroll is going to carry on the soft tyres, so fair play to him for doing that. Gamer just seems to be getting these exits right out of Maggots, Beckett and Chapel. We know the dirty air does make things quite difficult, but he's just far enough ahead to hold on to that position. And as long as he keeps doing that, as long as he keeps using a bit of ERS, he's now got 25% less than Suku. When you consider they were almost identical when the AlphaTauri man made the pass, it shows you how much of that electrical energy from the hybrid system that Gamer's having to use to stay ahead at the moment. But it is working for him, and if he gets within DRS range of Riese, of course, he might be able to just use that DRS and save that ERS once more. 5 laps to go. Has Suku got enough in him to take this first victory?
I'm not sure, but 5 laps to go, anything can happen. Riese has succumbed to the fact he is going to have to bank on the safety car coming out at the last minute. His one heck of a push, but at this rate, I can't see it happening. Santeri trying to hold on, but remember, he still has to pit too. The only 2 drivers yet to pit, and it's an Alfa Romeo and the Williams. They're both WOR drivers as well, so it's very interesting as we see, speaking of WOR, Lars right behind last week's winner, Brock. Doesn't look like he can make a move, and he actually goes wide, Lars does. And that's not going to do him any favours as they're coming through Maggots and Beckett and Chapel right now. Is there going to be any changes in the pecking order this time? Lars right beside Brock, but he has lost that momentum. Brock's actually closer to Santeri now, and Gamer is being challenged by Soku, but not happening. The gap between the top 2, 3/4 of a second now. Oh, Modestroll has crashed! Now, what is this going to be? Is it safety car? Safety car, Luke! I don't believe it!
I do. The amount of times it's happened on this game, I definitely believe it. And, of course, the lead cars had gone past the pit lane. Jax and Kryptonite haven't. They're going to get soft tyres, and the safety car's out on track. Riese and Gamer, and all these drivers, they're not getting a free pit stop in all of this. They're going to have to go around at a safety car pace. Jax and Kryptonite are the ones who are really going to gain from this. They're not going to I don't believe they're going to lose any positions. They might lose out to Andrea, perhaps, on that set of the soft tyres. But I think they're going to get away without even losing a position to him. And now Risa Gamer, Suku, Korne, Risa and Santeri, you've got to come into the pits. You've got absolutely no choice on this. You'll be on your fresh soft tyres at least, but you have to come into the pits. What do you do if you're everyone else?
What is happening? I cannot believe the safety cars just decided to come out now after Modest Stroll has fallen. Santeri on my screen's a bit laggy for me, but my goodness, is this going to change anything? Rice and Santeri have no other option. They have to come into the pits. It is compulsory. The others, they're free to stay out if they want, but Andrea, Jax, and Kryptonite, well, actually Andrea, but Jax, Kryptonite, and Nico going through it all with the soft tyres. Remember, they've got to get around as fast as they can because the safety car is not coming out any longer because, of course, it will be at least, I think, a 2-lap shootout. So it will be coming in lap 24 regardless. We've never seen a race finish under the safety car in the game. Of course, that's to make the game more exciting because that would be boring ending the safety.
Yes, certainly, but at Bahrain, we had a 2-lap shootout for the victory of this race. Last time around, we had a 2-lap shootout in Austria for the win in this race. It looks almost certain we're going to get a 2-lap shootout again for the victory of this race, and it is going to be CRG Gamer in the lead because, of course, Risi and Santeri are going to have to come into the pits, and there they go, coming in off their tyres. They waited as long as possible. If the safety car had come out 10 seconds earlier, they'd be looking absolutely brilliant right about now. Instead, they're going to be a long way, well, they're going to be a long way down the order as Andrea gets a time penalty for severe collision with Jax.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. I think it could be removed, though. You never know. We'll have to see what has happened. Risi and Santeri in the pit. The rest have to stay out. I wonder, what will that mean? What will that mean? Will it change anything? Will it change Soku's mindset of how he attempts to make a move on Gamer? Of course, all the soft runners happening. It's half and half. 7 on the mediums, 6 on the softs. One of them, WOR, and of course that's Andrea. He has decided to stay out. Not sure if that's going to help him or not. We'll have to see when the drivers come into the pits. But the safety car comes into the pits, and we get back racing for this final showdown to end all final showdowns here at Silverstone. My goodness, I'm about to lose my voice. This has been one heck of a finale. Oh no, Santeri's left the session! Are you kidding me? Don't tell me. Oh no! When will this guy get any luck? When will it... Yeah. Yeah. Then yeah, as we see, safety cars coming in. There's 12 cars. Well, it's 13, but Santeri has disconnected. But he is trying to catch up. But Gamer has it all to do. He has Soku, Korne, Brock, 3 Shizou drivers, all wanting that win as much as he does. He's going to have to keep it clean through these final cars as he starts the race. 2-lap shootout. Look, this is going to be absolutely insane. I think Santeri is just caught up in time. I think. Yeah, he is. And Gamer has run away. Oh no! Reese is a penalty! And just as the safety car comes in, 3-second time penalty for exceeding track limits. He's definitely not going to get that removed. Oh no! Santeri's come into the pits again. I can't believe this. Yeah. Ooh. Yeah, looks inevitable. Look, as we see, Reese has made a great move past Nico for 11th, but he is going to have to move it because, of course, he has that 3-second penalty, so it might not mean much. Doesn't seem to be many changes as we see Andrea looking for a move on Simon, and so is Jax on Andrea himself. But look at this, Jax going for a move on the inside of Andrea. Soft tires versus WOR. Soft tires, oh no! Both is fired, oh my word! That's a horrible accident for Jax, and he is out of the race. No points for him. Oh, and Kryptonite's off the track. Andrea's had a time off the track as well. Oh, it is just devastating for all three of them. And oh my goodness me, Nico making a move on Reset. Reset has damage as well. Reset's lost his entire front wing. My goodness me, what is going on in the back? But look at this. CRG Gamer still holding off Soku. I think it's going to be a 5th victory out of 6. I don't want to jinx anything, but that looks inevitable by the looks of it. Oh my goodness me, what happened at the back? I have a clip of it, by the way. I'll show you it later if you didn't catch it, by the way. As CRG Gamer coming around the final section, it looks like it's his.
Yeah, certainly. He's looking good at the moment. Apologies for the slight audio issue we had there on the safety car restart. I believe everything is back to normal now. I think it was just Jackson Andrea. Andrea still had his nose on the inside, and they spawn, and then Kryptonite, sort of as an innocent one in that, ended up, well, causing, I think, the bit of the collision again, completely innocently, and Risa getting damaged as well. But Gamer, he's kept it clean. Again, so many of his rivals must be wondering what on earth can they do to beat this man. It is going to be a 5th victory out of 6 races this season for the Alpha Tauri drivers. CRG Gamer crosses the finish line. He takes the victory here at Silverstone at his home race. It's 2nd for Suku, 3rd for Corne. Brock is now tied for 2nd in the championship with Lars. He finishes 4th. Lars in 5th. Rudy, Simon, Nico, the only drivers that have come across the line at the moment. Andrea, with that incident earlier on, he's in 9th position. Reese with no front wing. He is still going to manage to finish in 10th place. Kryptonite will be 11th. Santeri's AI is the last car to cross the line in 12th place. But what a performance again from CRG Gamer. Getting that move done on Suku when he did proved to be crucial, because after the safety car again, there wasn't anything the drivers could do. Everyone had freshest tyres. Everyone had fully RS, no DRS. Bit of a procession to the finish.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. It wasn't the kind of finish I was expecting. I thought it was going to be an all-out shootout. But then again, it has helped CRG Gamer get his 5th win out of 6. He's up to 140 points. Incredible. And we're not even I think we're not even halfway through the season. No, we're not. There's still 8 races to go in this incredible season. Oh my goodness. Can we just award the trophy now?
I mean, looking at the gaps at the moment, if I'm just going to try and do some quick maths, 140 points for Gamer, 61, sorry, for Brock. He is ahead of Lars, but that is an absolutely huge gap. We're talking 79 points at this moment in time. There is still 7 races remaining, but my word, things are looking pretty good for Gamer at this moment in time. Another victory this season then for him. Suku equals his best result, which he got at round number 1 of the season. He finishes in 2nd place. Corne finishes in 3rd. He's only done 2 races so far this season. He's had podiums in both as the Dutchman. Brock is 4th. Lars in 5th place. Rudy 6th. Simon comes home in 7th. Nico in 8th. Of course, him, Andrea, Rise, the final point scorers. Kryptonite as well, caught up in that chaos on the final lap. Santeri won't be classified as he was an AI car. Jax classified in 13th after that late retirement. And we saw Modestrol, Tomer, Dan Spreen, so many other cars as well. Marcus Towler, Jensen, I think Cohen, plenty others that I'll have missed as well. So many retirements in that race. And the safety car coming extremely, extremely late in the end. Too late for it to have an impact.
Yeah, it was quite an underwhelming finish. More underwhelming than I thought it would be, but my goodness. I should actually correct you on an issue. On my screen, it looks like Brock was 4th. Is it say 3rd on your screen?
He said 4th.
Alright, 4th. So he actually got 12 points, so he's up to 58. Lars is also on 58, but Brock, with that win, that is the tiebreaker, so he's up into 2nd in the championship now.
Yeah, that is true. Apologies for that, everyone. But that means, of course, now that they're leading the top of the championship, is 140 points versus 58 points. It's even bigger. It's 82 points at this moment in time. Game is leading. So, the way things are going, you've got to say, Portugal or definitely Imola, the championship is going to be looking. It's going to be looking pretty good for Gamer. He just gets things right when he needs to. He kept it clean. We saw keep his head in the safety car. I think he gained a position in the safety car on Cornet. Cohen obviously put on the soft tyres. Well, the hard tyre. Well, Cornet he passed in the pit, sorry. Cohen put on the hard tyres when mediums would have probably been better. Then he had that spin as he was trying to pass Tomer. And he got the move done on Suku. He just does everything right and keeps his head calm.
Yeah, it just seems to all fall into place for Gamer. Do we have some interviews possible with Gamer and all that?
Yeah, I'm just going to try and invite them into the waiting room, trying to get them involved. I'm sure I'll be interested to see the different thoughts in that race. In the end, all those drivers, you have to say, ended up doing the right thing. There was no point pitting under that late safety car. Risse and Santeri obviously did. If it had come out a slightly bit... Like, if that safety car would have come out when Modestrol had his crash, of course, things could have been completely different. If Tomer had his crash, things would have been different. Modestrol, if he'd had his crash 10 seconds earlier, maybe then we'd have seen Risse and Santeri get a much freer pit stop than they actually did, and they might have been near the front of the order. Fine margins, as always, in Formula 1.
Yes, indeed. I'm just going to be 1 minute, have to get something, but you can start interviewing once they get here. I'll be back in 1 second.
Yeah, no worries. We will drag the drivers in then for the interviews, and we are going to start with a very familiar voice, shall we say, to the commentary box. Almost as familiar as me this season. It is CRG Gamer, 6th podium in a row, 5th victory of the season. Just keeping your head when so many others having slight little issues. Just a perfect job from you today.
Yeah, story of the season really. Just bad qualifying, as per usual, which everyone's used to by now. But yeah, I mean, I think the race sort of fell into my clutches with, people's incidents ahead. And the safety car at the very end, obviously, definitely helped with getting rid of the DRS. So, yeah, it fell pretty much perfectly into my hands and obviously just got to execute what I was given. So, yeah, pretty much perfect, I guess.
Yeah, again, as we were saying, things worked out pretty well. If that safety car had come out slightly earlier, would you have been tempted to go onto the soft tyres? Because a bit like in Austria, as we saw there, 2 laps, everyone has full ERS, there's no DRS, and it almost neutralises the field, and things, definitely towards the top end, there were plenty of chaos happening in the back. Towards the top end, nothing really changed. A few laps earlier, would you have been tempted to come in for the softs, maybe?
So the thing is with this track is, because the tie deltas are so close, you don't get a massive advantage from the softs. I mean, as you saw on the last lap, people on the mediums were setting the fastest lap. So, yeah, there's not much tie delta and getting through a lot of traffic. I mean, obviously, if the entire field pit behind me, then I'd be in trouble. But I very much doubt that would happen. And, yeah, the mediums are just a very, very good race tyre. So, no is the answer. I wouldn't have pit. Even if a safety car came out, sort of 10 laps from the end. No, I wouldn't have picked because the mediums can hold on pretty comfortably. And with the slipstream and DRS around here, the tyre advantage, it doesn't give you a lot because you're just getting it all back on the straights anyway. So, yeah, that's what I'd have done.
Yeah, definitely worked out for you. 82 points now, leading the championship going into the 1 week break. What's the aim for the end of the season? I want championship, obviously, looking very good at this moment in time. Are you perhaps seriously thinking podium in every race could be possible?
I mean, who knows? I don't know what's going to happen. So that will be very difficult purely because there's always something that can happen to ruin it. And there's been numerous occasions where I didn't think I was going to get on the podium at all in, some of the races that have already happened. So, yeah, there's no particular aim, obviously the championship, but yeah, we'll have to see what happens race by race and just keep going as we are.
Yeah, that's pretty much all you can do. Congratulations then on another victory and enjoy the week's break.
Thank you very much.
And we're now going to bring in the man who finished second place for the second time this season. It is Shizu Suku. Fantastic job from yourself. at the end of the race, not having DRS, meant you couldn't really do anything about Gamer.
Thanks for congrats. Big shame that DRS wasn't be able on the last lap. But yeah, the round is very good. Qualifying is the closest qualifying in my life. That was very interesting. And yeah, very good race, very good pace. The very good manage in the race, and P2, I'm very happy, and big congrats for Gamer for a third win or four?
Fifth.
Yeah.
Fifth.
We're all
yeah.
losing
So
ground.
many, we lost count.
Yeah, so big congrats. This is very, very good job.
You were definitely closing in on Gamer and getting close before that safety car. Do you think if it hadn't have been for that safety car, you might have taken your first victory of the season?
I think this was be possible, but unfortunately DRS wasn't able. So this was hard to overtake him without this.
Yeah, definitely was very tough. Logan, do you have any questions for Suku?
Yeah, when the safety car came out, did that change your mindset, or were you thinking, oh, we'll have to keep it cool? Maybe CRG Gamer may make a mistake under the cosh.
Can you repeat the question?
What was your mindset when you saw the safety car was coming out? You just passed the pit lane as it happened too.
I don't know. I don't know.
Oh. You know, the safety car really affects your emotions when it comes out, and all the pack has to bunch up. It was already bunched up, but considering that a lot of the drivers, of course, Risa had to go in for the softs to the mediums to the softs, I should say, and that gave CRG Gamer clean air, which meant he had no DRS. Oh, of course, everyone didn't have DRS, but it must have made a bit of a change to everyone, did it? Or you just
I think that for soft tires was too late.
Yeah, it was too late in my opinion. If
2 laps
I mean,
for overtake everyone. This is definitely too late.
I'm sure there was a crash on lap 19 and 20 that if that came out, that probably would have had a big implementation on the race results. But unfortunately, unfortunately for everyone else, Gamer has run away with it once again. He got the pace where he needed it, and it just looks like that it was Gamer's day once again. But are you happy with your results?
Yeah, I am very happy. P2 is a very good result because Gamer is really fast driver, and yeah, I'm very happy.
So that will take you up to 40 points. I do believe that puts you in the top 5, if I am done my math correct. Yeah, 40 points. I think it does. 40.
I think it does as well. It's going to be pretty close, I think, but it's still very close between quite a few of the drivers. Do you think you can get second in this championship?
I don't know, because the PSGL X VRT is now, and I don't know when I back to VO World Online Racing. We will see what pace on the track will be, but yeah, I will be fighting, never give up, and yeah, P2 is, I think, maybe will be fighting, but we will see what happened.
Yeah, we will have to see. Never give up. Definitely the attitude to have. Congratulations, Suku. Your second podium of the season.
Thanks so much.
That's pretty much it then for the podium interviews. We haven't been able to get Connie in, unfortunately. A great race again. A shame that we didn't get to see the battle we perhaps would have done right at the end, Logan. Gamer coming out on top once again. He's going to be feeling very good going into this break.
Yes, he is. Of course, we do take a break next week, but when we come back, of course, I do believe it's esports next week, so everyone is going to be focusing on that one. Of course, everyone's been preparing. Not here, of course, but of course, everyone would be wanting to watch the biggest names in the world going for gold. But when we do come back the week after esports, we will be at the Hungaroring in, you guessed it, Hungary.
Well,
which will be
just going to
the
correct
end
you
of
on
the
that
first-
one, Logan. Sorry, Hungary's been taken off the calendar.
Wait, it has?
We're going to be at Belgium for the Belgian
Oh.
Grand Prix. So the traditional home after the break. We are going to be at Spa for the
Did you
Belgian Grand Prix, and that is definitely not going to be a race to miss. So yeah, hopefully we will see you guys there. Can Gamer get another victory this season? Will it be another podium, or will we see something we've not seen all season? No AlphaTauri on the podium. You'll have to wait and see to find out. Of course, all the leagues are taking a bit of a break, so enjoy the break from WOR for a bit. We'll be seeing Xbox around on a week on Monday. PC has unfortunately finished because of the issues on that game, but make sure to check out the WOR League at WOR League on Twitter to get the latest news. And me and Self and Logan, we will see you all soon. Thanks again for joining us. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy esports next week. Take care of yourselves, everyone, and goodbye.